Greetings, all my beautiful African people all around the world. Greetings to you.
Now, Africa.
Let Africa one day realize its own freedom. Let Africa one day stand on its own feet and say, I own my minerals, I own everything that belongs to this continent. Let Africa alone be able to say, enough is enough, away with colonialism, away with the imperialists. Let the unity of African people reign supreme in all of us.
In today's episode, we will be discussing the wrongful sentencing of one of the greatest freedom fighters in recent history. Stay tuned.
Because a pain of Africans, it's our pain, not only here, even abroad. Those in the diaspora, those people are suffering. They are harassing them. They've got no rights. In America, it's even worse. That Donald Trump hates Africans. Africans are suffering everywhere. When they come back home, you still make them suffer. Why? What did these Africans do to you? Let's protect one another. Let us be one thing. Let us love our continent. Let us fight for our continent. Let Africa one day realize its own freedom. Let Africa one day stand on its own feet and say, I own my minerals, I own everything that belongs to this continent. Let Africa alone be able to say, enough is enough, away with colonialism, away with the imperialists. Let the unity of African people reign supreme in all of us. We are Africans, and we are not going to apologize about that. We will defend the Zimbabweans. We will defend Africans in our townships because we are one thing. This is our continent.
After careful consideration, and I can show you I have done so, free of any interference, this judgment or sentence is the sentence of this court and this court alone. In respect of count 1, you are sentenced to a period of 5 years imprisonment. In respect of count 2, you are sentenced to a period of 2 years imprisonment. In respect of count 3, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 4, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 5, you are sentenced to pay a fine of 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In terms of section 280, subsection 2 of Act 51 of 1977, the court orders that the sentence imposed in respect of counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 run concurrent with the sentence imposed in respect of count 1. You may be seated, thank you.
Today I need to talk about Julius Malema and what is really happening in South Africa. Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, was sentenced today to 5 years in prison. The charge, firing a celebratory shot into the air at a party in 2018. Nobody was hurt, no one was struck. It was a shot fired into the sky. But before we talk about that sentence, let me give you a few numbers. White South Africans represent 7% of the population, but they own 72% of the land. Black South Africans are 81% of the population. They own 4% of the land in their own country, on land their ancestors have lived on for 100,000 years. When Europe was still fumbling around in the Dark Ages, South Africa's indigenous people were building the kingdom of Mapungubwe, trading gold, living in sophisticated societies on land that had been theirs since before recorded history. Then the colonizers came. They passed the 1913 and 36 Land Acts, specifically to strip Black South Africans of land and hand it to white people. 87% of South African land was legally reserved for the white minority under apartheid. And in the 30 years since apartheid supposedly ended, only 8% of that land has been redistributed. 8% in 30 years. The man saying to give it back is going to prison. Now let's call what's happening in South Africa exactly what it is. Economic apartheid. Not the legacy of apartheid, not the lingering effects. Apartheid. Ongoing, intentional, violent. The land is still stolen. The wealth is still engineered. The poverty is still deliberate. Black South Africans are not living in the aftermath of apartheid. They are living inside it. Economic apartheid kills people slowly through poverty, through landlessness, through the despair of watching your ancestors' country remain in the hands of the people who stole it. And it must be vanquished, not reformed, not slowly corrected, vanquished. The land must be returned. The wealth must be redistributed. The economic architecture of apartheid must be torn down completely. That is what Julius Malema is saying, and that is why he is going to prison.
The colonial oppressors are at it again. They don't want you to see it clearly. They don't want you to connect the dots, because the moment you do, everything changes. What Julius Malema has been confronting is not just politics, it's the enduring shadow of colonialism, not something buried in the past, but something that adapted and still shapes the present. You can see it in who owns the land. You can see it in who controls wealth. And you can see it in who has access to opportunity and who doesn't. In South Africa, colonialism didn't disappear with liberation. It evolved into an economic system where inequality remains deeply entrenched. A small minority continues to benefit, while millions are locked out of opportunity. That's the truth being challenged. And that truth makes people uncomfortable, because confronting this reality means asking dangerous questions. Who really controls the economy? Who benefits from the system? And why does inequality still define everyday life? These questions threaten power, and when power is threatened, the narrative changes. Instead of focusing on inequality, attention shifts. Instead of talking about wealth and land, the conversation turns to African immigration. Suddenly, fellow brothers and sisters on the continent are blamed for unemployment, blamed for economic hardship, blamed for a crisis they did not create. But this is the political distraction. Don't be fooled. African immigrants did not design inequality in South Africa. They did not build a system where wealth is concentrated at the top. They are navigating the same struggle, facing the same barriers, trying to survive in the same unequal system. They are not the problem. They are part of the people affected by it. And that's what makes this narrative so dangerous, because it redirects anger away from the real issue. It divides people who should be united. It turns frustration into conflict, while the system remains untouched. While people argue over who belongs, the real questions are ignored. Who owns the land? Who holds the wealth? Who benefits from the system? That's the legacy of colonialism. Not just control of land, but control of power and opportunity. And today, that Conti role still exists, just in more subtle ways. This is why voices like Julius Malema are so controversial. Not because they are perfect, but because they force attention back to the real issue. Economic power. Because the real struggle is not between South Africans and other African immigrants. It's between inequality and justice. It's about a system that keeps millions excluded and the demand to change it. So the choice is simple. Do we keep fighting each other, or do we confront the system that created the struggle in the first place? Because until that system is addressed, nothing changes. Oh, and one more thing. Check this video out. Let us all learn from history. Justice for Julius Malema. Peace.
There was an incident at the Grammys. Mm-hmm. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested. That was wrong. Obviously, it's an ongoing legal matter, so I don't know how much you can say about it.
Well, as a prosecutor, you know I can't say it.
You can't say much. But can you just give us some sort of description? Because people are saying they're talking too much.
I think the backstage was overcrowded. I think the winners were exuberant. And I think security got a little overzealous, and that's all. It's all, you know, it's water under the bridge for me.
Yeah.
But I like to say all of my heroes have been in handcuffs: Malcolm, Martin, Mandela, Medgar. So, you know, I walked out with the same dignity and respect that I walked in with.
And that's all for today's update. If you found this video helpful or informative, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to stay ahead with the latest updates, insights, and breaking developments, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this situation? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.